they're not just grooming your children in their sexual and gender ideology. They're also using CRT to turn them into good little communists.
Board. My name is Michelle Altair, and I'm here in support of the resolution that was read. And I have a different, unique perspective on things, because I traveled with a superintendent during the primaries all over the state who was addressing the transgender issues, the sexualization of children. And we happened to talk with, or after such a talk, an 11-year-old girl came out. And she was just asking about, are you against this? I mean, isn't it, shouldn't we be more accepting with these? Shouldn't we be more accepting? And as the questions were being asked, she shared with us that she played on the girls' volleyball team, 11 years old, played on the girls' volleyball team. And she knew it was a man. It wasn't just because you're in a dress or you're wearing certain clothes does not make you a female. She knew that one of their student coaches was a man, and he would come into their locker room and he would just stand there at the door staring at them. And she was asked, just at you? No, he just stares at us, all of us girls, as we're changing. And the issue, yes, that's a horrible thing, but the bigger thing was she felt bad because she's being indoctrinating that this is natural, this is normal. And so she felt bad, something's wrong with her, because she was uncomfortable as he's watching her. And I don't know, I have never had an 11-year-old girl, but I would imagine they don't even want their fathers in the rooms with them when they're changing, let alone some strange individual who says I identify as a woman in the locker room. So I would think, that we're all going to have to answer to a much higher power for our role in the destruction, and it is the destruction of children. We all had our issues growing up. We all maybe had some idiosyncrasies, some things, problems that we had growing up, but I don't think we were ever told that the reason why you have these problems is because you're really a girl or you're really a boy. Basically telling them that God, the God of the universe, he made a mistake when creating you. And man, fallible man, we know what's right, and we can change you into what you really should be. So I think, we all need to take a deep look within ourselves and know that you will stand before a higher power, and you will be asked about your role in what is the destruction of children in this generation. Thank you.
You know you're in a cult if 1. You believe you are what your imagination says you are. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 6. You believe reality isn't real. Delusional, characterized by or holding false beliefs or judgments about external reality that are held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary, typically as a symptom of a mental condition. You know you're in a cult if 10. Thanks to Jamie Lee Curtis, who didn't know how many Oscars she'd won, them can't count. You know you're in a cult if 11. You will cry in protest to take a real black woman off a syrup bottle and a Quaker off a box of oats named Quaker Oats, only to put a fake white woman on a beer can. All while saying, I can't believe they're so upset over a beer can. Bud Light parent Anheuser-Busch's stock has lost $27 billion over Dylan Mulvaney. You know you're in a cult if 13. If you get triggered because someone doesn't think you're special because you were born into one of the CRT-approved victim groups, they believe deeds and personal responsibility warrant pride. You know you're in a cult if 18. Lost your shit over To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn but are screaming about banning books with gay sex and masturbation in school libraries. You know you're in a cult if 20. Will lie even with irrefutable evidence. You know you're in a cult if 21. Being so filled with hate, you will groom, mutilate, and murder your own children, all while calling your opposition fascists. You know you're in a cult if 22. Believes that out of 7 billion people on the planet, white, straight, males are somehow oppressing everyone else. You know you're in a cult if. 23. Will lose your shit when someone points out that you're not oppressed, you're just stupid. You know you're in a cult if. 25. Will refer to a biology book as right-wing propaganda. You know you're in a cult if. 26. Will lose your shit if someone actually uses proper English instead of your made-up pronouns. You know you're in a cult if. 32. Are the same people who say you can't indoctrinate kids to be gay with a book or a drag show, but continually accuse the church of doing that very thing. Although religion isn't taught in schools, and you're not forced to go to church. You know you're in a cult if. 33. When someone is simply talking science and common sense, you will try to bring religion into it. Well, you know the church. Well then, don't go to church. It's not against the law. Not going to school is. You know you're in a cult if. 34. Will use unrelated behavior to justify their sick, grooming behavior. You know you're in a cult if. 39. Will lose your shit when someone says you're in a woke cult, and to prove you're not, you do the things on this list over and over and over. You know you're in a cult if. 40. Will accuse your opposition of that which you are guilty. You know you're in a cult if. 46. Consider chemically castrating a pedophile horrible and inhumane, but chemically castrating a child just dandy.